Good afternoon, this is Carly Kovacic with the National Weather Service in Peachtree City. Welcome to the weekly weather briefing for August 6th. Let's begin by going over what's currently going on across the region. On the left I have posted the radar and satellite imagery, and on the right I have the latest frontal analysis along with the temperatures that were valid around 10 o'clock this morning. Let's start by going over the radar and satellite. We can see some showers and thunderstorms mostly across the northern portion and the central portion of our forecast area, and that's evident in the cloud cover shown on the visible satellite imagery below that. We are expecting cloud cover to increase as we go through the day today, and we'll talk a little bit more about that here coming up. Glancing over at the right, latest frontal analysis does show a surface low across the Tennessee Valley with a cold front extending south-southwestward from that and a warm front extending to the east of it. This is going to leave us in the warm sector for today, and then we'll start to see that cold front begin to push southward through tomorrow. Current temperatures as of 10 o'clock this morning, most of the area was in the lower 80s. Not expecting too much warming for today. It's going to be actually slightly cooler than what we've been seeing lately, and that's because of the increased cloud cover across the area. We're expecting a pretty active day weather-wise across the region. On the left I've shown a very strong disturbance, strong for this type of year at least, that's going to be pushing southeastward across our region, particularly this afternoon going into the evening hours. This is going to generate scattered to numerous showers and thunderstorms as we go throughout the day today. And we are expecting some scattered strong to severe storms with this, particularly during the peak heating in the afternoon hours going into the early evening. The Storm Prediction Center, which the graphic is shown on the right, has us under a slight risk for severe storms. The main threats today are going to be damaging wind, but some hail is also possible. On the bottom, I've shown one of our high-resolution models. This high-resolution model seems to have the best handle, at least of what's been going on during the morning hours, rain and storm-wise. So, according to this particular model, around 11 a.m. we can expect some storm coverage to begin to increase from the northwest, pushing across portions of North Georgia. And as we go into the latter portion of the afternoon, say around 4 p.m., expecting pretty widespread coverage across most of the area. And some of those storms, like I said, could be strong to severe during this time frame. And as we go into the evening into the overnight hours, we can start to see this initial line of storms begin to push southeastward towards the southern portion of our forecast area. But you can also see what looks like a loosely broken line pushing into northwest Georgia. So there is the potential that we could see another semi-organized line of storms moving through later this evening going into the overnight hours. Again, this is only one model, but it does seem to have the best handle of what's been going on thus far today, so this is just to kind of give you an idea of what to possibly expect as we go into the afternoon and into the overnight hours tonight. This slide just goes into a little bit more depth as to what to expect severe storm-wise, at least for today. Once again, the Storm Prediction Center does have a majority of our forecast area highlighted in a slight risk. Portion of the area is also in a marginal risk. So either way you look at it, severe storms are going to be possible throughout the day today. Now, as far as what to expect, again, scattered, strong to severe storms, particularly during the afternoon and evening. The timing is going to be mainly from 2 to 10 p.m. The hazards, mostly going to be a damaging wind threat. We could see wind gusts of at least 60 miles an hour or even greater than that. As with most storms that we experience, especially during the summertime, frequent lightning is going to be around and some locally heavy rainfall. We've seen a pretty impressive moisture increase across the area over the last 24 hours, so that's going to lead to some localized heavy rainfall with these storms. The threat for hail is low, but it is there. And as far as where these storms are going to pose the most threat, North Georgia is in a majority of the slight risk, but a good portion of central Georgia is as well. And just to note, many of you have probably noticed, but there have been some non-severe storms that have been pushing across parts of far North Georgia and central Georgia this morning. And again, we expect coverage to start to increase here as we go into the early portion of the afternoon. Now moving on to Friday, the main story on Friday is going to be the passage of a cold frontal system. This cold front is going to push across the state throughout the day, and I've tried to emphasize that in the middle image. This shows the position of the cold front around 8 a.m. on Friday morning. Moisture is going to begin to decrease from north to south as this front passes throughout the day. And I've tried to emphasize that in the left image, which shows the relative humidity. Again, brown colors indicate drier air. The green and blues indicate more moisture. So you can see from north to south that moisture decrease as we go throughout the day. Now, thunderstorms are going to be possible tomorrow, and this is going to be mainly across central Georgia along and ahead of this cold front. And again, that's shown in the right image where we see about a 50% chance of storms across a majority of the central portion of our area, with a slight chance across the northern portion, say about a 20% chance. Slightly cooler temperatures are in store. I'm sure a lot of people are excited to hear about that. And again, that's emphasized on the right image. Generally expecting temperatures to range from the upper 80s to the lower 90s on Friday. As far as rain totals are concerned, for today and tomorrow, expecting anywhere from about an inch to an inch and a quarter generally with these thunderstorms. However, do keep in mind that there could be some localized pockets of higher amounts. But overall, this is a good sign. We could definitely use some rain. It has been pretty dry over the past 2 weeks. Looking ahead into the weekend actually does look pretty decent. Maybe not quite as nice as what we were seeing last weekend, but overall fairly dry. I've tried to emphasize that in the top images for both Saturday and Sunday. Again, this is showing the relative humidity with the browns indicating drier air. So particularly Saturday, we'll see mostly dry conditions. With continued warm temperatures and it being summertime, there is that slight chance of a stray thunderstorm during the afternoon or evening hours. Highs are going to be a little bit cooler again than what we have been seeing, expecting highs generally in the upper 80s to the lower 90s. And on Sunday, we'll see a slight increase in moisture, not much. Overall, still expecting pretty dry conditions. A chance of an afternoon thunderstorm once again. Maybe a tad bit hotter on Sunday, generally expecting highs in the lower to mid-90s. Taking a sneak peek into next week, particularly Monday through Wednesday, we'll start off by seeing that upper level ridge begin to try to build eastward across the area. This would try to suppress widespread thunderstorm development. However, we are expecting another cold front to begin to approach the area Monday and really pushing across the state Tuesday going into Wednesday. This front is going to act to increase shower and storm chances, and we will expect the highest storm chances to occur on Tuesday and Wednesday. However, we will see a general increase in storm chances beginning on Monday and lasting through at least Wednesday. Shown on the bottom left is where the frontal position is expected to be early Tuesday morning, and on the right just showing you again that moisture increase as we go into the beginning of next week. For right now, the forecast is going to lean wetter because it does seem like this cold front is going to push its way across the states sometime during the beginning of next week. And again, this is going to lead to an increased chance in rain and thunderstorms. This slide is to basically give you an overview of the next 7 days, so feel free to pause this presentation and look at this more in depth at your leisure. But just going over the basic highlights of this, we're expecting slightly cooler temperatures throughout the next 7 days, mainly highs in the 80s, particularly across North Georgia. Stormy conditions are likely today and tomorrow. We'll see slightly lower rain chances and drier conditions Saturday and Sunday, and then we'll start to see those rain chances really begin to increase as we go into next week with that next frontal system. It is hurricane season, so it is appropriate to at least glance at the tropics, and the tropics are very, very quiet right now. Not expecting any tropical cyclone activity during the next 48 hours, or really the next week in general, and that's evident in the satellite imagery that's provided on the right. Don't really see any organized development or any evidence of any organizing development. So again, tropics are expected to be pretty quiet, at least through this forecast period. To summarize this presentation, really emphasizing today and tomorrow with this presentation, we are in a slight risk for severe weather today and tonight. The main threat with this are going to be strong winds. Again, winds could gust to 60 miles an hour or greater this afternoon and this evening. There could also be some heavy downpours with the pretty impressive moisture increase that we've experienced the last 24 hours. As always, lightning is a threat. A cold front is going to push its way south across the state on Friday. This is going to lead to some thunderstorm development along and ahead of it, mainly across central Georgia. An isolated strong storm or two is possible, but not expecting widespread severe weather on Friday. Looking at another mostly dry weekend, maybe not quite as pleasant as this past weekend. A stray thunderstorm is going to be possible both days with continued warm temperatures. However, high temperatures are going to be slightly cooler than what we have been seeing, again, mostly ranging from the upper 80s to the lower 90s. Next week, rain chances are going to gradually increase each day as another frontal system approaches. Currently looks like this frontal system is going to push across the area sometime Tuesday, perhaps going into Wednesday. That concludes the weather briefing for this week. We will be providing another one next week around the same time.